miserable weekend for the Belgians, I'm afraid, has come to a premature end there. The Aston stops Nygaard to give way to Stefan Mucker. Down the pit lane comes Michael Krum. Peter Dumbreck will be the man to get behind the wheel of the car this time. And Bert Longin's Maserati is in as well.
They're going to be done as slick as they possibly can. Not to lose too much time.
Change drivers, change tyres, 2 mechanics to do the work. Zonta rejoins, or the car rejoins, Frank Kekler now having taken it over. This, of course, is where the order can shuffle if you lose time in the pits.
Oh, no, I think the wheels come off. The nuts come off the rear. It popped off. He put it in gear and it popped off. Big error. Well, that's the guy. He's putting the wheel nuts on, but obviously he hadn't put the damn thing on at all. So they've lost a monumental amount of time now.
And Stefan Mucker's car, as you say, losing lots and lots of time, spins the wheels in frustration there. Dear, oh dear, that was a dreadful pit stop, wasn't it? And there's a rather embarrassed mechanic there saying, oh, I don't know what happened. Not me. Don't believe you. Yes. So you've got Peter Cox then leading the way, staying out. Now he's quicker than Christopher Haase, isn't he? So Peter Cox will do a longer stint compared to other drivers. Yep,
sure, exactly. And again, that's just where Peter, with his wealth of experience, can just be consistent and just carry on doing the job that he's doing at the moment. But
second, third and fourth, Lamborghini, Ford, Maserati now. In other words, Nicky Pastorelli just ahead of Richard Westbrook, who, as you might expect, is going tremendously well in the Ford, and then Bernoldi's Maserati.
Yeah, well, what they need to do, the Ford GT and the Maserati, in some regards, should be coming in as soon as they possibly could. They probably should have come in the lap before, because they're being held up. Now, if you're being held up, you want to get out of that traffic and get yourself in the pits, do your change, get out, because if they all come in together, for example, now, you've lost all the advantage you could have got. So maybe it was a bit of an error for those two. We'll see what happens if they come in the pits this time.
Look at second place, though. Richard Westbrook's Ford under huge pressure now from Enrique Bernoldi in the Maserati. Which way does he go? To the outside goes the Brazilian, the ex-Formula 1 racer. Nicky Pastorelli leads the way. Bernoldi on the outside. Richard Westbrook eventually has to give way. Bernoldi goes second for Maserati.
Good move for him. I think that was an important one where, say, we've got the pit window open now, and if you can get in front, the car's in front, of course that gives you a clean track when you change over to your driver. But as I said, in some regard, they should have pitted earlier than they have done.
So we've had 4 different leaders. Can we make it 5 with Enrique Bernoldi going ahead? Bernoldi will give way to Miguel Ramos, the Portuguese racer, who is not really as quick as Enrique Bernoldi. So Enrique needs to do the lion's share of the work in this stint. Richard Westbrook is quicker than Thomas Much as well. So that's another reason perhaps why they're keeping him in the car for a little bit longer. As up front then, the leaders are at Pouin. This rejoining the race.
It's going slow. We've got that Lamborghini going slow there. I don't know, 24, yeah.
That's Christopher Haase, who's just into his stint, isn't he? Maybe there's a problem. Maybe he's just playing himself in.
He's playing himself in a bit slowly. That's the case, yeah. No, he's going very slow. Very, very slow. So maybe there's an issue there somewhere.
There's the sister car behind of Frank Kekler.
We've got yellow flags at turn 3.
There is a problem between, of course, in as much as the gap has come down. Now, these are the best 2 of those that have made a pit stop. So, in real terms, this is the lead battle. What we need to see after the next tranche of cars have pitted is where they feed back in. On track, you've got a battle for the lead, but these are the top 2 stoppers. Now, remember that Frank Kekler is longer into his stint than Christopher Haase. If he is still playing himself in, though, he's got to get up to the required speed pretty soon. Otherwise, he's going to lose the lead altogether here. Kekler making a look to the inside at Pouin. Is he going to be able to go through their teammates? So they don't want to lean on one another, but Frank Kekler certainly now is giving Christopher Haase a very hard time. And remember the big lead that Peter Cox had built up. It's about to disappear altogether.
Exactly, and we got those 3rd, 4th and 5th still battling, still on track, still following each other, still losing time.
And this is a replay of Frank Kekler locking up at the bus stop and just missing Christopher Haase ahead of him.
Bit of a flat spot maybe up here in those tyres, I think.
Absolutely right. As into the pit lane now is the Neil Jani Romain Grosjean Ford, which means that Romain will hand over to Neil Jani.
And as these 3 still do battle, I keep repeating myself, I just can't believe that they're still out there. Following each other, falling over each other, slowing each other up.
You should be a team manager.
That's a good old point. I'm off.
So,
See you later.
Yeah, exactly. Lamborghini, Ford and Maserati, who are so busy listening to their respective teams, they're not listening to Jay Herbert about when they should pit, but if you talk louder, they might listen.
Maybe.
But they're going to run out of time sooner or later because there's probably only 1 more lap within the pit window at the end of this, so they really are coming to crunch point.
Yeah, and what's going to happen? All going to come in together.
and they trip over
Silly.
themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
quite. You've been saying it all along. So you have to see the evidence of this. Nicky Pastorelli, to be fair, doing a good job of hanging on to the place. He's got very quick drivers behind him. Richard Westbrook having to defend again from Bernoldi as they come up towards the bus stop. The Maserati tries the outside. Richard Westbrook stands his ground. Is Pastorelli slow to come into the pits? Yes. Richard Westbrook, yes. Bernoldi, yes.
Oh dear. Wallies.
Gold star for that man that said they'd all come in on the same lap. Well done, Johnny. So down the pit lane they come, and these three were fighting for the lead. Now the question is, where do they feed back in after the pit stop relative to the two Reiter Engineering Lamborghinis, namely those of Christopher Hasse and Frank Kekler? Also into the pits is the next Aston Martin of Fred Makovici. So Richard Westbrook stops.
Yeah, so after all that following on track, it's all going to be down to the pit stops themselves. It would have been much easier if they pitted three laps earlier and then got a clear track.
So Thomas Mutch takes over the Ford. It's going to be Dominic Schwager, who hadn't raced here since the year 2000, who will take over the Lamborghini. And the other car, Miguel Ramos, there, now behind the wheel of the Maserati.
Someone not very happy there. I don't know what happened there.
Well, they seem to have finished the work, but it wasn't moving, as though Miguel Ramos wasn't ready. And that's going to keep it behind the Ford, isn't it? So Thomas Mutch's car keeps track position, but that's a big... No, that's the other Lamborghini looking at. Panic. But this is a very slow stop.
Very slow. This isn't for a few...
Trying to work out why it's taken so long to do that. The Ford and the Maserati had long since departed.
Well, I have to take everything I said back, because they obviously knew more than I would that the Lamborghini would have a problem in the pit.
So eventually they gained the places.
Yes, anyway.
However, that's Andrea Bertolini. Mikhail Bartels has taken over that car. The safety car is on standby, incidentally, so this may also have a part to play in the outcome of the race now, as 25 Frank Kekler there comes up towards Les Cornes. Now this is going to be for the race lead, look, and it is just ahead number 5, so Thomas Mutch leads the way on the pit stops. The Ford has come through, so both the Lamborghinis have been a bit slow. This stints as Kekler tries to go to the inside, rides the curb. Thomas Mutch hangs on to the lead. Kekler is in second place and Christopher Hasse is down in third. And of course, the car that's third now had a comfortable lead when Peter Cox brought it in.
Yeah, precisely. So he's lost a hell of a lot of time. I said, but we did see, I think they do have a bit of a problem, because we did see they looked a bit slow down the Camel Straight, and he's obviously lost out to his fellow Lamborghini, and he seems to be just dropping back. So obviously I think they seem to have a bit of a problem.
The safety car is on the track.
I think so, yeah.
This is going to bunch everybody up now. I'm trying to work out why we have a safety car. It may be for the Ford at the top of Radion, the Mark VDS Racing Team car, but it's been there for a few laps. No doubt we'll find out for sure in a moment. So everybody has to back off. Richard Westbrook, after a very, very good opening stint, a bit frustrated now because his lead's gone virtually. So just over 13 minutes of the race to go. We were suggesting this could be the race of the year. Well, everyone bunched up then for one last hurrah. Here they come out of the bus stop. Safety car peels in. The race about to get back underway. Thomas Mutch accelerates out of the bus stop, tries to pull away. Frank Kekler is second. It's Ford versus Lamborghini. Michael Krum third in the Nissan. Miguel Ramos fourth in the Maserati, but I'm a bit fearful he may lose a place or two. Thomas Akri and then Alex Muller behind. Aston Martin and Maserati as they go through La Source on this first lap of the restart. Downhill then goes Thomas Mutch, but Frank Kekler is staying with him. Ford versus Lamborghini for the race lead, and Thomas Mutch under huge pressure now.
Yeah, and what you've got to do now is just get us out as fast as possibly you can onto this Camel Straight. Now, because he tried to pass going into the Rouge corner, he lost his momentum, so then he hasn't got this chance, although he's still trying, but I don't think he's going to actually make it this time.
Thomas Mutch making the car very wide indeed as he comes then up now towards Les Cornes in the background. You saw Alex Muller having a go at the Aston Martin of Tom Akri, and Michael Krum is with them. It is 3 for the lead. Look, we've had a change for 5th place. The Aston Martin then is there, Tom Akri, but down towards us comes Thomas Mutch just ahead at the moment. In 2nd place, Frank Kekler, and now Kekler finds himself trying to attack and trying to defend at the same time. Life becomes very difficult indeed. I reckon that Nissan's got a real chance of winning this race.
It has, and it's funny seeing it here actually. You get that very low GT40, that very low Lamborghini, and the Nissan just looks so big. It's almost like from the screen, bottom of the screen upwards, it's that much higher than the other cars. So it's amazing how well that car does. It's got a wonderful motorsport history and a great car to drive as well, and very quick here in Spa.
A nervous Richard Westbrook and nervous Hans Reiter watching their respective cars, and there's talk for the year after next of a BMW entry into the championship. At Stefan Rattel's press conference yesterday, he was talking about the success of year one of the FIA GT1 World Championship, talking about trying to move to the Chinese and North American markets for next year's calendar, and then talking about in another year's time after that more brands coming in as well. So the future looks very good indeed for the championship. The future of this race looks good as well. Ford, Lamborghini, Nissan looking at the top three at the moment. Miguel Ramos is in fourth, and actually he's doing better